Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. You could be anywhere else, but you're here with us, so we appreciate it, and hopefully you get to learn a lot in this panel. The success coaches from all the partnered schools have came together and made this amazing panel for you guys to really just reflect on CPTP and see the amazing things that they do. And we also have alumni and guest speakers in the program, and it's going to be very awesome, so hopefully you guys enjoy. We're presenting Annie Castillo, Michelle Madrigal, America Lopez, and I, Destiny, are the success coaches. So again, this is the 3 partnership colleges that are working together with this presentation. So if you have any questions at any time, feel free to go and chat, and we will get to your comment. And eventually we're gonna have an open Q&A. So if you have more questions, you could definitely let us know there. So for those that do know what CPTP is, it's just a reiteration of what you already know. But those that don't know what CPTP is, it's a community-based teacher pipeline that really just strengthens just teaching skills and also just really focuses on teachers of color, because I think that's very important when we talk about this day and age, because especially in California, it's very diverse. So in short of all that long paragraph, they do a really good job of just really teacher exploration and also just emphasizing teachers of color. Oops, that should have been there first, but I guess it goes right after. And again, we're going to do another click here. So another long paragraph there, you don't have to read it all. But for today's panel, we are just going to have alumni and current CPTP students just really explain the importance of mentorship, because I think that's the most powerful thing within the program. The mentorship program is really special just because as a teacher, it's really important to have those leadership roles and also get those experiences before you head into the classroom. So you're going to see 3 different boxes on the right side. So humanizing education in the 21st century. And I'm going to move this a little bit. Equity in education and apprenticeships in education. And your learning objectives that still just come out really funky, and I'm not sure why. So you will have a deep understanding of mentorship and networking to build a community, as well as how teachers and educators and mentors support each other in the future of the education, and how teaching exploration is super important, especially as a young teacher going into the field. So hopefully you get to be able to learn all those cool things today. And if not, hopefully we could reiterate that towards the end of this panel. So here we have the names of the guest speakers on the panel. So we have Brianna Reyes, an alumni. From Rio Hondo, Cerritos College, we have Katie Morgan, Alessandra Ray. They're both current students, and one is also transferring. And the really cool thing about that is they're actually CPTP ambassadors, and they could also explain what that role is and how that also plays a role. And from El Camino, we have Yunine Carranza, and that's also an alumni. She was not able to be here today, but we have a video of her actually explaining her experiences. So don't worry, we will have that also available to you as well. And this is the interesting part. So the alumni panel and the student panel. So we're going to have our students actually introduce themselves, and we're going to ask them a series of questions. We might not answer all these questions, but we're going to try to summarize as best as we can, so we won't have to overwhelm them with questions. And again, any questions or comments you have, definitely put that in the chat and we will get there in open Q&A. So for the intro to the panelists, I would love to have Alessandra start us off, and just what your name is. I already said your name, but you could state it again. But what community college you're at, and what are you studying, and what are your future goals?
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Alessandra Ray, but everyone calls me Ale. And I am currently in Cerritos College. I am still in Cerritos. I have another year before I transfer. And right now I am currently majoring in chemistry and going into the secondary level because I want to become a high school science teacher. And I'll pass it on to Katie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm also at Cerritos College. I will be transferring to CSUF in the fall to pursue child and adolescent studies. I got my Associates of Arts degree in elementary education while at Cerritos, and I want to be a school counselor or a psychiatrist.
And then our alumni next speaker, Brianna, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Brianna Reyes. I went to Rio Hondo for 2 years, so 2020 to 2022. I just graduated, and I got my AA in Spanish and then a certificate in elementary education. But ideally, I do want to go into teaching at the secondary level as well, hopefully high school. I transferred to UCLA. I'm currently in my 3rd year here. also majoring in Spanish. And after this, I'm looking to join a credential and a joint credential and master's program to further my education and become a accredited teacher.
That's awesome. I already see that you have so many goals, and the master's program is just very interesting. So that's good for all of our amazing panelists. You guys are already doing amazing things. Whoever wants to take the lead on the mentorship, go ahead and ask those questions. Don't be scared, by the way. That's definitely not going to answer all of them, but go ahead.
All right, so I'm Michelle Madrigal. I am the success coach for El Camino College. And so we're going to start off with the first question, which is a lot of questions within. It's kind of a few of them, but I'll go ahead and just have you kind of summarize what you answered in the mentorship portion of it. So I'll go ahead and pass it to Ale.
Hi. Okay, so for the first question, why is a mentorship role so crucial at the community college level? And I think it's important because students can get discouraged, especially once you enter your first semester in college. Because I remember that when I went from the transition from high school to college, it was really different having your teachers in high school be on top of you with your homework or with your assignments, and then entering college is more like it's your own schedule. You have to learn how to do and organize your week. And I remember that for my first year where I wasn't in the CPTP program, I was not doing really good in school, and I got really really discouraged and really sad because I went from having a straight A's in high school to maybe failing a class in college. So once I entered like the CPTP program and I had my mentor and I talked to her about everything that I was going through, she really helped me get my life back together. She helped me earn my good grades in my classes, even with my units, or maybe if I had like, I don't know, let's say I failed one class, but then the next class or the next semester I got an A. Like, she really helped me stay motivated because she was there for me, and she's still there for me. I still have her as my mentor. But I was really thankful to her because she went through the same thing I'm going through, like the same college experience. So she knew what she could say to me to help me. And I'll pass it on to Katie.
I agree with everything Alessandra just said. I wanted to add a little bit specifically on the community college level. I feel like if you go right into a university, you don't get that networking and you don't get that partnerships your first couple years because you're just focused on doing your GE and getting it done. But when community college comes into play, you're able to focus on your GE, but also have that mentorship role, like Alessandra said, just someone who's been through it and can advise you through it, not like telling you exactly what to do, but kind of giving you a roadmap and letting you kind of make your own choices, but also be there when some choices don't go as according to plan. I feel like the networks I've built within this program, whether it be with the success coaches, with my mentor teacher, I've now had two mentor teachers. It's just a bond that will never be replaced by anything. Yes, they're teachers or educators, but there is people who also have problems and just trying to get through life together. That's something I realized this semester is like, yeah, they're teachers and they've been through it all, but they also don't have it all figured out. Just like us, they're trying to figure out each day and just live life to the fullest. I mean, I'm currently with my old middle school teacher from 8 years ago. Being back in her classroom just completely gives me a different perspective on life and how to work with students. And that's something I wouldn't trade for anything, and why I'm so grateful I went to community college first. And I will pass that to Brianna.
Yes, a lot of great points. I think very similar to what I would say as well. But I think that mentorship is like a crucial part of a student's time at a community college, because during these first two couple years that you're at a community college, choosing a career and like sticking with it can be pretty daunting. So having a mentor, and specifically one that is already working in the career field that like you're interested in, can be really helpful because they serve as a guide and they serve as a resource. At least that was my experience. And in my experience with the CPTP program, having a mentor was really helpful because I did community college during COVID. So I didn't get to interact much with my professors since all my classes were online or asynchronous. So I had that kind of disconnect there. And so having a mentor that I could meet with weekly and discuss my future plans with was very beneficial in firmly deciding like the career path that I wanted to take. Yeah, I think for that, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to like have someone to kind of lean on and to advise me on what decisions I should make, and like give me more advice on what I needed to do to get to where I want to be career wise. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. It was really great hearing your perspectives on how mentorship has been crucial in your community. And we kind of already touched on this part of what is the importance of community and education, but I still want to hear your thoughts on how that may apply to other students that are listening to you right now. And for Brianna, I also have a question: is how has the importance of community been in education now that you have transferred?
Yeah, so now that I've transferred to UCLA, I feel a lot more confident in my career path. I think compared to like other like friends that I have that didn't have that like support from a mentor, I feel like very reassured because I had like someone who's already been working in the field for like 20, 30 years give me advice and tell me specifically how like what I need to do. And I've had like multiple mentors, and I think that's also like helped me a lot because I get advice from like different teachers that have been like in the field working, and I just learned a little bit about each and every one of them, and it's just like helped like get me to where I am today. And I think that could also tie into like the idea of like community, because some of the students that didn't have like that mentor in community college like sometimes come and ask me advice. I'm not saying I know like everything, but I know some things like from what I've learned, and so to the best of my communicate what was like the information that was told to me.
Thank you. And that's actually something I try to remind students, is that because CPTP is such a great program in giving you that accessibility to a community and to mentorship with other people in education, you then become that mentor for your peers. You become that peer mentor of, hey, like, I know you want to get an education. So here's a way, and like how my mentor helped me. And now you could help others and spread that to continue having more culturally responsive educators in the field. And back to Katie and Alessandra. So what is the importance of community in education, and how do you think this is going to support you in your transferring and so on going into the field of education?
Alessandra, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
You can go first.
Okay, specifically for community, I just attended CSUF's like open house type thing, and I was talking to them about it, and they know about CPTP, they know what it is, and they have partnerships with it. And it really blew my mind how much like something that seems at times so small at a community college level is actually impacting Cal State's UCs, just because of the transitions, like Brianna going to UC and then telling about it. Like those are those little connections that people don't really see until you transfer, until you go spread it into your community. And even like working with my mentor, I've gotten to work within the community, because you work within the school, but you also work with the students and you get to know their upbringings and their community, and you get to just better understand, I guess, how diverse this world is and how diverse students are. And CPTP kind of broadened my eyes of that, of working in different cities, different schools, different grade levels even, and just really showed me how diverse communities are.
For me, this question, I think it was sorry, let me start again. Okay, so I think the importance of community in education, especially here in the CPTP, is that you start making connections. So for example, here on the workshops, like even right now, like you get to hear the guest speakers, and then they always leave their email or their contact information, and that's where you start making those connections, so that when you, let's say you want to start student teaching, or you want to go visit a classroom or go visit like a specific school, those people are the ones that might help you get to your goals. And especially for this session of Teacher LA, or the ones they have done the previous semesters, I really liked how you really get like you get to listen to the experience of others, and then you can also apply the experience you're going through. But I think that's one of the main things of the CPTP, that you make connections here. Even if you just attend one workshop, you still get a lot of knowledge from it.
That's good. And I just love how we keep talking about community, because it always goes full circle. A mentor teacher helps you. And then once you get to that position that you help someone, you're going to help other people. And it just keeps on that going with that cycle of just kind of just sharing a legacy, if that makes sense. But whether that's through education, through counseling, through any part, because education is so big, right? That there's so many different roles that you can play. But we do talk about community. There's very good things that can happen with our community, but there's also a lot of barriers that sometimes this program does address, especially with communities of color. So when we talk about these next sort of questions, kind of think about what barriers do you think that you might see in the future of education, or you can even talk about some barriers that you see in the current situation of education. I think that one could be a really important question to add on. And if you want to answer the other ones about misconceptions about education, you could. But it's really up to you. I know there's a lot of things going on within our world. There's so many different factors that could play a role in our education. So Brianna, if you want to take that away, if you know any barriers or something you want to talk about within equity in our education.
Yeah, I think one of the key like things that CPTP strives for is just like diversifying like the teachers, you know, and that's something that I've seen a lot in like my experience with like volunteering and doing observation hours. I've been in like different cities and different schools. I've done elementary, middle school, high school. And I think the main thing that I see is not enough people of color in those roles. And as like a student, that's something you try to look for, and like your teacher, like, oh, who looks like me? Like, so I think that is one of like the biggest like things that we're dealing with, just trying to like diversify that more right now. Yeah, I don't know if anyone wants to add more to that.
Brianna, I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for being here. Brianna was my student.
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. It's fun talking about all of this, and I think it's really important to, you know, get the word out and just try to get more people to join CPTP and like be part of this. I think it's really great, and I would love to try and like implement this at like my UC as well, because I don't see like a program like CPTP here right now, and I think it's important because like the whole mission that CPTP has to just try to diversify the teacher workforce. I think I would love to have something like this here. Yeah.
Oh, Brianna. See, I feel like Leah said, like $1 trillion right now.
Yeah, thank you, Brianna. Just thank you all the panelists. But if I have another question, it's not on there, so definitely whoever wants to answer this one, go ahead. But do you feel like, you know, as someone that's going in the field of education, is there an experience or some kind of story that you think you might take with you beyond, even outside of your school experience? Like maybe a memory of some kind with your educator that they cared about you more as a person? I think sometimes we think about teachers are just teachers. Sometimes teachers are just a role model that you never had. They're friends that help you grow in many capacities. I think teachers don't get a lot of credit. There's very special people in our lives, and sometimes they inspire us in ways that, not just to be a teacher, just to be a better person. I think this program does a lot. So if you guys have a special shout out you want to give out to somebody, definitely this could be your time, because we're going to wrap up this alumni panel and go to the video afterwards. It's a big question, but if you guys want to answer a shout out or anything, definitely feel free to do that.
Oh, you want to go first, Katie?
It's up to you. You can go.
Okay. No, you know what? You go first because my dog is about to start barking.
Okay. I've had the amazing opportunity to work with 2 mentors while I've been at Cerritos College and CPTP. So I was originally with a first-second combo class because that was when I wanted to teach 3rd grade. And then I switched to, like I said, my old middle school teacher, which I now work with 8th graders, which you can imagine is a drastic difference between, I don't want to say little and innocent first, 2nd graders, but little first and 2nd graders. And something that will forever stick with me with that first, 2nd combo class teacher, I was having a really rough time, like Alessandra kind of mentioned, juggling it all. I was in full-time student coming out of high school, trying to manage a lot of family issues of kind of being at 18 years old, a caretaker to my mom who was battling health issues. And I lost it one day in her classroom after school because that just weight, finally, I couldn't hold it anymore. And I remember she told me, she's like, you're one of the first people to actually show your emotion as not just like a mentee or a student, but just like Destiny said, an actual person. And we were talking back and forth, and she was like, your passion for what you're doing will get you through those rough days, and not focusing on the money or the time, but just the impact you're making on students. And when she said that, I was like, that's what I want to do with my life, is just help people see their potential like she saw it in me. And then I was sad to leave. Something fell through with that. And then I was at Benton, which is my old middle school. And I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. It's like middle school. I'm familiar with the environment. Was I mistaken? A lot's changed. Students are very different. But I'm just grateful to be able to make an impact on that school specifically, because I've seen what works, what doesn't for me and other students. And I'm able to give the advice to those students and just the community in general in that school that I wish I had when I was there. So that's been really cool. But just both my mentors have really put a belief in myself that I never thought I would have, and that I'm really grateful for.
Do I go next? Yes. Okay. So for me to answer your question, Destiny, and to answer kind of a bit of the other questions that are in the equity part. So when I was in 10th grade, I did my middle school in Mexico. So I did my high school in California. So I went back, and it was a hard experience because I had to relearn English, like speaking and then writing and then grammar, and everything was like, I was like a mess. And I would really like to, they're not here, but in my heart they are. I like my high school teachers and the staff members, especially the principal, they were always there just encouraging me. And they would always, like, every single day, even though sometimes I had bad days, they would always just have a smile in their face, and they would always encourage me. And I remember one of my teachers, when I was kind of feeling homesick, I remember she told me, don't be too hard on yourself, and just allow yourself to have the bad days and the good days. And maybe right now you feel like you want to go home, but you know, you're working towards your education goals. And even though right now I graduated, I still go back to them, and they always receive me with their arms open. And it's really nice to have those type of connections, because I think a lot of us, we're becoming teachers because we had a good experience with teachers, but at the same time, for those who didn't, they want to become that supporter, that what can I say, mentorship for those students. You know, you want everyone wants their students to succeed. So I think a lot of us have the same passion to always keep growing and see students and everyone grow. So that's it.
Okay, I'll go. So, I think I've had a lot of positive experiences with teachers, so many little things. Like I've had amazing teachers, honestly. But one of the things that has stuck with me the most was maybe not the most positive like experience, but it did change. I believe this changed my life. My senior year, right before like COVID happened, I was talking to one of my teachers, one of like a teacher that I looked up to a lot. I really liked like his teaching style, and he asked me what school I was going to. And at the time, I was planning on going to a very like private, small school near my house. And he told me, he's like, "Oh, like that fits you. Like you wouldn't do well in a big school." And a comment like that kind of just like, you know, it made me a little like self-conscious. I was like, what does that mean, you know? And it stuck with me. I was just kind of like, why would he say that? And I think that comment kind of like lit a fire under me, and it just like made me want to strive for more. I was like, I can prove to myself that I would do good in a big school. And since then, I've just been working hard towards that. And I mean, here I am now. So I think I was able to prove myself that. And yeah, his small comment about that kind of just changed the whole like direction that I was taking with my life at the time, like school wise at least. And I think reflecting on it, it's helped me kind of realize what kind of teacher I would like to be. I would like to be like someone who's more encouraging, you know, we don't put students down for anything. And yeah, that small comment, I just learned a lot from it. And sadly, I mean, it is something that has stuck with me. Since then, it's been like 3 years, but yeah, I would say that.
Well, first off, thank you guys. I think in all three of you have some kind of redirection in your lives, whether that be through a comment or through a teacher that guided you to another path that you never knew. Sometimes it might not make sense to be redirected at the moment. You're like, wow, like, why did that person say that? Or why am I going through that certain path? And years down the line, you're like, wow, I'm actually glad I went through that path because now I'm here where I'm at. And a lot of doors have opened and some closed for a reason. So you guys are in very good spots, and I cannot wait to see all three of you guys do amazing things. Whether in whatever way you guys do in the future. I think sometimes we say we want to be a teacher, and then maybe years down the line we don't want to. So whatever you guys choose to do, you guys are gonna do awesome. So thank you guys for answering all those questions. It looks like a lot of questions just looking at it, but you guys killed it with that. So thank you. We're gonna go to the next video here. So our guest speaker couldn't join us today, and we just still wanted to give her a platform to actually just talk to you guys about the experience. Experiences are just very important, especially for someone that may want to hear or maybe have a similar story to her. So hopefully we could play the video and everything goes well.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Uni. I attended El Camino College and graduated with a Associates of Transfer in Political Science, and I'm currently a first year transfer at UCLA, studying education and social transformation, trying to minor in either labor studies or public affairs. So in terms of mentorship, I feel like it was really important to have a mentor just because they provided resources for me, especially as a first generation student. I still had difficulty adjusting to community college and then figuring out the transfer process on my own. But also by having that mentor, she was able to provide guidance in her own academic experience in terms of like, you know, earning her bachelor's degree, getting her credentials, and then later pursuing her master's degree, and how many more opportunities she was able to get because of that. My mentor, luckily, she currently is a teacher as well as a professor at LMU. And so she just provides like two different perspectives of like teaching at the K through 12 level as well as in college. So because of that, now that I am at UCLA, where I don't have that type of mentorship anymore, you know, coming in as a transfer, you kind of have to figure everything out within your 2-year limit. So it's a lot faster paced. So if I would have been able to join another mentoring program, I felt like I would have greatly benefited from it, just because like it's completely different in terms of like the quarter system, what UCLA is as a research institution or an R1 institution. figuring out like how early I should be preparing for like maybe graduate school or like what other job opportunities I should be looking towards. But yeah. And so moving on to the next question, in terms of community in education, having a community in education is important just because when you are going into, you know, like underserved communities, you don't want to have a savior complex when serving these kids or children. You know, you're not supposed to be their hero. And so understanding that, CPTP has helped me understand that by, you know, providing the actual mentor who has real work experience in with these students, but as well as workshops as well, where we talk about like power and privilege and how, even though, you know, we might have different backgrounds of like, maybe I'm an undocumented student, I'm first generation, because we're working or we have that title as teacher, we still have power and privilege like over these students. Like, you know, you're basically kind of like, there's this hierarchy between you and a student. So just making sure to understand that and not have any like toxic savior complex. And so moving on, were there any misconceptions that I saw? So for me personally, I don't want to become a teacher. It's something that I never wanted to do. Instead, I want to go into like counseling for academics. I'm not sure if I either want to do either high school or college counseling. But definitely within the major, whenever you tell people, oh, that I'm an education major, that's what immediately pops into people's minds. But no, there's so many other career paths within education, either within like policy, administration, or teaching as well, like as a professor or even within the K through 12 level or post-secondary. In terms of barriers, so again, as I mentioned, since being first generation, I'm still really lost, even as I'm coming into my 4th year, close to graduating soon. I'm still really lost on like what else I should be doing to like, you know, enhance my resume or understanding of what it means to be an educator. And so that's one barrier that I have faced. But just recently, I learned that we have a graduate mentoring program here at UCLA. So just making sure that, you know, you expand your network of like other students that are within the major, just because they provide so many other resources, they might have already asked those questions that you had in your head. And so networking with them, but also with professors as well, you know, they might be professors teaching this class, but they're meant to be there to help you. They're your resource, especially coming from like they already had their career early on. They're now teaching at an institution. And so getting some of their experience as well. So yeah, lastly, I just want to give some advice. So yeah, again, highly recommend the program. For me, like mentoring really helped out just because I was able to get real-time advice then and there. I didn't have to, you know, like wait for like an appointment for like counseling in terms of like, if you ever want to talk to a counselor, like someone else, it's really hard to do that. But with that mentoring, we did meet on a weekly basis. And it doesn't always have to be like academic. I would either ask her about like advice on like what jobs I should apply to. I updated her about like my transfer process and really had a connection with her where I can say that now we do text each other from time to time, just updating each other on like how our life is going. But yeah, thank you for coming to our presentation.
Awesome. Again, she was able to be here, but she had a lot of insightful information and just even a different experience to for our first generation college students out there. You guys know the struggle for sure. So before I even continue to the next slide, if you want to be a brave soul, definitely participate. But in the chat, if you're a CPTP student, definitely let us know what school you're from, just so we can get an idea of who's actually watching this. I think it's really important to just kind of shout out your schools because they do a lot of back work to get the program going, and CPTP is such a great program. Without the schools, there wouldn't be a program. So again, if you want to put in chat your school, your name, and even your major, definitely do that. Because the next part, and not another video again, let me see if I can go here, but we'll see if anyone actually does that. Okay, cool. So this is the open Q&A panel, and I will also take a look at the chat. So Michelle or America, if you guys want to take control of the open Q&A and answer questions, I'm going to look in chat really quick to see if we missed anything.
You had one question earlier. It said, what characteristics do you value in a good mentor? And Katie put a response in the chat, but for Alessandra and Brianna, I'd love to hear your answers.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. What characteristics do you value in a good mentor?
I can go first. I think personally, I'm really, really like I try to be. I'm really organized. So I think a mentor that's like organized with like what they're telling me and like the information that they have. I value that a lot. But also like creating like personal connections, someone that can be very like authentic and not just like by the book, you know, someone, a mentor that can share their like personal experiences with how they truly feel about like teaching certain grade levels or certain subjects. Just I like the raw information, you know, someone that's like really authentic. I value that a lot because it is a career I'm going into. I'm going to be probably spending the rest of my life. So I want to know like everything and like the most like true information. So I think, yeah, that's something I definitely value.
And for me, I think it's the same thing, or like being organized is one of the main things, but because I sometimes forget what I have to do, and it's really nice for my mentor to have like a Google sheet where she keeps everything in order, and I can simply just look at it and be like, okay, I have a meeting with her on Thursday and it's at this time and I have this many hours. And I think also being like open-minded, or maybe just having that comprehension that maybe she didn't go through the same thing as me, but at the same time she knows what I need to hear, and that I can talk to her even though it doesn't have to be specifically about school. I could just tell her, hey, I'm having a bad day, and I just tell her what I'm going through, and she would always listen to me. So I think being a good listener is also a good thing. Are there more any questions?
Yeah, hey guys, I actually had one question. Thank you for your guys' time. But for me, this is more of like a personal kind of feeling. But for you guys, when did you guys realize that you guys did enough, or you know, done enough programs or side things to kind of really prepare yourself? Because as of now, for me, I'm at the point, and I'm still at the point where I don't feel like I've done enough to kind of ready myself. But I mean, from your guys' personal experience, when or how did you guys know that you guys were like, all right, you know, I'm ready to hit the hard part? Like, what was your guys' experience?
Brianna, do you want to go?
You can go. It's okay.
I related to everything you just said of like, I feel like for me, it's that, and Destiny knows this, my success coach better than anyone probably. I still have those moments where I question if I'm ready for it. I feel like that's human nature, or if we did enough. A major change for me was helping students discover that they're enough and they've done enough. I struggled with my life feeling if I did enough, if I made the right decision going to community college first, even at one point going into education. And it wasn't really until I had, and I still remember a student to this day, sitting with me, and she's like, I don't feel like I'm enough. I don't feel like I've done enough. I don't have purpose in life, like all the stuff that I was feeling. But obviously you don't want to project that onto your students. Just seeing someone who has so much life ahead of her, she was 12 years old at the time, and just really put life into perspective of like, we're here to help them, but we also have to help ourselves. And I feel like that's a key component of education or working with students that doesn't really get talked about, is the fact that you need to help yourself before you help others. So for me, it was kind of jumping with 2 feet in and seeing if I liked it. As kind of cliche as that sounds, it's kind of a in the moment experience type of thing. And I don't feel like you're ever going to be fully ready for something. And for me, that's what made it exciting. And I even relate to uni being a teacher for LA. I did this panel back in 2022 for my first ever like public speaking thing with Cerritos College and just in general. And it's kind of cool being here as like a full circle moment of getting ready to transfer and leave. And now I'm talking to you guys again about just my love for working with students. But you would have asked me a year ago, I would be like, I'm not ready for that. But with the help of Destiny Learning and a lot of other people, it's kind of just you try as you go, and there's going to be hard days, there's going to be good days, and there's going to be days that are in between. But I feel like for me, if you have the direction of where you want to go, then everything else will figure it out.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had like a trouble finding the unmute button, but yeah, if you guys have more questions, feel free to keep shouting them out. This is more of an open Q&A. It doesn't have to always be about teaching. We don't want to just focus solely on teaching, even though it's important. You know, sometimes as teachers, you also have another person like at home. You're you, regardless of what the teaching position, what part of education you are. Never lose sight of you and your dreams. I think a lot of people tend to get lost. I don't know if you guys seen Soul, the Disney movie, but just don't forget to just have fun and live life, but also enjoy what you do, which is teaching or education. So yeah, I think there's another, yeah, again, if you have more questions, feel free to let us know. Our panelists have so many different experiences, from already transferred doing things and some about to transfer, and then one that's still current. So we have a lot more opportunities here. Yeah, we will give another minute or so and see if anyone else last minute does anything. But do you guys have any other comments or even advice, if anything, if that could probably lead another question? I think Brisa had commented something actually. Any advice on achieving a good work-life balance in teaching? Whoever wants to take a lead on that one.
I can go ahead and answer that. I think, yeah, work-life balance has been a little hard for me, at least. I think right now as like a full-time student, I also am like managing 2 jobs, and I'm also doing observation hours with an elementary school. So I feel like there's just a lot that I'm doing, and so just maintaining like a planner, I think, for me, and having like everything organized there, just like yeah, just staying on top of like my priorities, like deadlines and stuff like that. But my planner is something that I carry with me like every day, because I'm a very visual person, so I need to see like, what am I doing, what's next, what do I have to do today, what do I have to finish, what I have to turn in, and all of that. I just keep everything organized there just so that I can stay on top of anything that I do, and so that I don't like miss anything as well. But it has been something that I've had to like learn as I like go through it, because it is a lot. And with like I'm on a quarter system right now, so I feel like my schedule changes like every 10 weeks, so it's just constantly having to adapt, being very adaptable person. Yeah.
I would second everything Brianna just said. Being adaptable is a big thing. Especially like that transition from community college to university is crazy in itself, and it's something you can't predict. You kind of just have to go along with it. Work-life balance, I feel like that's something every staff, every teacher can say they're probably still working on it. It's a day-to-day battle. I work currently 3 different positions and a full-time student, and I love every minute of it, because one of my jobs is I get to work with students and speak to them. But the work-life balance, I feel like, is being able to adapt and just giving yourself a break to not have it all figured out. Time is pressing, events are pressing and everything going on. But if you just take it one day at a time and just focus on, I guess, the end goal of whatever that is, getting your degree, getting that job, whatever it is in life, and just focusing on the journey that it takes and knowing that it will be a journey to achieve whatever you're trying to, really puts the goal and the end result as a smaller thing, because you're focusing on the journey rather than the actual thing itself. We all can sometimes get lost in, I don't want to say idolizing, I don't know what other word to use, that end goal, that we forget that it's a journey and it's different for everyone. So just giving yourself that kind of benefit of the doubt to know there's gonna be good days, hard days, and just remembering to take care of yourself and that work part balance, definitely, and just not to be too hard on yourself. Because like I said, it's something even probably teachers that have been teaching for 20 plus years are still trying to figure out to this day.
I see another comments. I just lost it. I feel like there was another before that. Okay, so we're gonna do one person answer one question because I think there's multiple questions here. So what's the process of volunteering at school and what needs to be accomplished in your second year or ECE year in community college? Whoever wants to take on that one, and there will be two other questions I think after.
I could touch upon, I think, the volunteering. Right now I'm in a class. Oh, sorry. Can someone take that question?
Alessandra or Katie, do you want to answer the one I just answered? I'll reiterate the question because I just forgot already. What's the process of volunteering at school and what needs to be accomplished in your second year or ECE year in community college? Or how are you able to like be in a classroom? Like, was that easy for you guys to do? Whoever wants to answer that one, you could answer. I think the second one might be harder for you guys to answer. Yeah.
I can take the second part about volunteering because I'm not an early childhood education major. So it's different, elementary, middle, high school, it's all different degree structures and everything. But volunteering in a classroom, I know it varies depending on district. I know certain districts you don't have to have certain paperwork and certain districts you do. It can be a hard process to get all that paperwork in. But it's normally just like background checks, like anything that you would have to do when working with kids in general, whether that be like at a youth center or anything, just kind of to make sure they have the child's best interests at heart and safety and all that protocol. But volunteering in a classroom, that process was actually pretty smooth for me, at least, once that paperwork got approved. Because it's kind of like you can observe, you can work with students, but it all depends on what your mentor teacher lets you do. And that can change. I started just by observing, sitting in the back of the classroom for 2 hours a day. And now I get to work with students. So I feel like it's a case by case scenario and school by school scenario, at least in my experience.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And that next, whoever wants to answer this one again, it's whoever's comfortable, but what do you do to manage your mental well-being? Whoever wants to take on that one.
I can go. So for me, what I do is I just take breaks. Sometimes when I feel like I have a headache or I've been staring at the computer too long, I just sometimes just I start painting or I watch a movie or I just go for like a snack. And that really helps me like at least take a breath and be like, okay, I'm fine now, I can keep working. But just always taking a moment to yourself, even if you just take like a hot shower, you're gonna feel way better. So I think prioritizing your time for yourself, that's a good way to help with your mental state.
Awesome, thank you. And there was another question with Marilyn. Was teaching always your goal or did you stumble on it? I feel I stumbled onto it. Currently a teacher's aide from University Program College Corps, and you are enjoying it. And I'm about to graduate my bachelor's in sociology. Congratulations. But I will for sure keep taking child development. I don't know what the V stands for. I always say, I think it's CDEC for when I read it, but at my community college. Whoever wants to take a role on that one?
I can do that
I could
one.
take over. Oh, go ahead.
I'm assuming it's CDEC as well. For me, this question kind of made me laugh a little bit because I stumbled onto what I want to do through pursuing teaching. So it's kind of a flip side to it. I actually stumbled upon wanting to do school counseling through CPTP and working in schools. I love that you just tried it and you love it, and now you're about to graduate. That's a lot of celebrating in itself. I feel like for some, it's been their goal since they were little to be a teacher. I know for me, since I was probably 10 years old, I said I was going to be a teacher. I was going to work in a third grade classroom, and that's what I was going to do. And it wasn't until I got to community college that I kind of got to see what I liked and see what I didn't like. I did a summer STEM internship at a local elementary school where we worked with anywhere from TK to fifth. And I discovered I did not want to teach, but I do want to be in an education setting of, like Uni said in the video, doing school counseling and still being able to be there for students. Because tying into all the mental health questions, I feel like addressing the mental, social, emotional well-being of children is more of the focus I want to go into rather than just instructing. I feel like, at least from what I've heard, there's more of confusion between going to counseling, going to teaching now. I just met my friend the other day who just switched from teaching to counseling. And I feel like it's something that people don't often consider because it's kind of like education, like Uni said in the video, education is teaching. But there's so many facets to education and how we help students that I feel like are not talked about, but also through this program, through CPTP, I've gotten exposed to that. And I've talked to Destiny about this several times. I wouldn't have that if I wasn't in this program. And that's why I can sit here and say I'm so grateful to be a part of this program, have been for 3 semesters now. And I'm going to miss it once I transfer in May, and I'll be at a university in the fall. But I love that you're just trying things, Marilyn, and just seeing how it goes. I feel like that's the cool thing about life, and just you're meant to be where you're meant to be. Sounds cliche, but from that message, you tried it and you love it, and now you want to do it. I feel like just trusting yourself is a big part.
True words. But Brianna, if you want to touch on it, I know you wanted to answer that question too. And you could also share a favorite memory. With Nikki had asked what your favorite memory would be, but you could add 2 questions. If you want. If you want to just take one, you could go ahead.
So it was just like if we had known if we wanted to be teachers, right? So for me, I think I was dead set on becoming a teacher since I was in 2nd grade, which you think about it. And so my teacher, she was like, I want to be her. Ever since then, I've been, like I've always like my mom has a daycare, so I would help her out a lot. And I just was exposed to that at a very young age, and so I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know what subject until I got into high school, but yeah, I've known since 2nd grade, and I've been working towards that goal ever since then. And then a favorite memory, what was like the memory, like referencing, like just in general? Oh no, can you guys hear me?
It cuts off a little bit, but I heard most of, at least what I on my end, I could hear most of what you said.
Yeah, okay. I think you guys froze a little bit. I think my connection's a little unstable. Favorite memory. I think I remember the exact moment when I like told myself I wanted to be a teacher, and it was because I was watching my 2nd grade teacher shuffle across the floor and like teach a a lesson plan while she was like dancing, and she had us all dancing. And in that moment, I was like that was really like impactful for me, because that's the exact moment when I was like this I decided that I wanted to be a teacher.
Oh, that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
I know someone had asked a question. I know we're getting closer to time, but I'm not sure about the parenting program, but if any of you have information about that, definitely reach out in the comment section for that. Bianca talked about UCLA twice. Godmother's dental acupuncture graduate. Ooh, that's cool. UCLA sounds like a beautiful school, by the way. I know growing up, I was like, I want to go to UCLA, and plans had other changes, but that's awesome.
It is very big, a lot of walking, and it's not all like flats, all hills. So it's not, it's very beautiful, but a lot of walking.
That's good. I mean, it helps with the steps, but Lily asked, to apply for intern jobs in education field, do you apply through your districts? I guess it also depends what internship jobs. I don't know if any of you guys know about that, but I know there's different kinds of
Yeah.
internships. Yeah. If anyone wants to take a lead on that one.
Yeah, I can. So I know more about like LAUSD and how they have like TA jobs, and they're paid as well. I went through the whole application process, and my roommate currently, she went through the process, and she's working at a high school because that's like where she wants to teach. And it's similar to the process to like volunteering. Like you need your TV test, you need like a background check, and you need to fill out an application, you do your interview and stuff like that. But you get to choose like what school you would like. I know when I was back home, I chose like a school that was closer to me, and yeah, they work with like where you're at and then with your schedule as well. But I think it's a really great opportunity for anyone who's like interested. You get like a better like more insight on what teaching is really like, but without like as much responsibility, because you're just assisting the teacher. Yeah.
Sorry, I keep unmuting myself because if a dog just starts barking, I would hate to have it overshadow you guys. So let me see. More questions. Okay, I think that was the last question there. Okay, cool. Okay, so I think the other slide is just like contact information about, oh, it's a quote. By learning, you will teach. By teaching, you will understand. So again, anyone could be a teacher, but it takes someone special to be a leader in our society. And many of you that are in the actual meeting, you guys are going to do great things, whatever you choose to do. And our amazing guest speakers are just live examples of what amazing things you're going to do in the future. So just keep up the good work and know that you guys will do amazing. And this is Get in Touch with CPTP. So if you guys are interested in learning about CPTP, definitely stay around. I could even share the link with you, but that's a link to the website and also their social media. If you're tech savvy and you have an Instagram, hit them with a follow. And if you want to follow the partner schools, definitely feel free to do so. I have put that there for your convenience. So we post a lot of cool stuff about the programs, and you could even share, cool stuff. So yeah. And first and foremost, well, lastly, thank you guys for attending, because again, you could be anywhere but you're here with us, and you guys were an amazing audience. So give a round of applause to our amazing guest speakers, and we'll be around for any questions, but you're free to go. And yeah, thank you so much and take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And thank you to our panelists for being here with us.
Thank you, you guys. Thank you so much. You guys take care.
Thank you. You too.
I had a quick question.
Thank you.
And hopefully we have an answer. We will try our best. Hello, and who was that speaking, just so we could know who?
This is Deidre.
Deidre. Okay,
You
awesome.
talked about credentialing, but I have a master's in nursing, and I was looking at some of the credentialing requirements. Would it be the same, since my master's is in something completely different in education, and I don't want to do grade level teaching, I want to do more university teaching?
To be a professor. Oh, who's going?
Who was talking?
Deatra was talking for the credential question.
Okay, I'll talk about the professor side, if that's what she wants to do.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Professor?
Yes.
Okay. And then, but either way, I would love Deidre to hear about the credential because we might have students who are thinking, so I know that you can do both, actually.
Okay.
And I know I'm into screens. I'm on my phone and I'm on my computer because I had to be going up and down. But for a professor, if you wanted to teach at the community college level and your master's is in nursing, you have to meet the minimum qualifications that are at the community college level. There is actually a minimum qualifications book that we have for the community colleges. Try to find it right now and I'll put it on the chat. But that would be directly with the department itself, with the nursing department, and see what the qualifications are for teaching at the community college level. What I can tell you myself, I teach in the child development department and I also teach intro to education. So in the education department, you need to have experience teaching some sort of either K through 12 or at adult, either after school, adult school, some type of experience teaching adults. And I think depending on, the requirements for the minimum quals to meet in that strand, you can apply for a position.
Okay.
I will look for that book and try to put it under in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
I keep forgetting. I should be knowing this by now, but the contact slide, I could try going back right now. Hopefully you're still here. I could check really quick if you are, but I'm gonna still go back.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to look at all the comments and I just,
No problem.
is this the one you wanted or the other slide?
The other one.
Okay.
Yeah, the one before that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
enjoyed everything. It was inspiring.
Thank
On
you.
to the next one.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, and we check. Do we stop recording ourselves or I forgot to stop recording? It's still recording. Let me actually stop
I
recording.
think either way it's good. Is the person who asked the question about nursing still here?